Davis for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bud.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome back into a very, very special edition of the Buccateers, and it's special because it's kicking off our Wednesday, our move to Wednesdays. Yes, we are moving to Wednesdays for now until about July through May and June. We're going to be coming at you live on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays. So remember that for your calendar. We'll get into that more a little bit later, but we announced it last show on Sunday on our Saturday Showdown Sunday edition. So we're here live every Wednesday for the foreseeable future, about 5:50, 6 o'clock Eastern time. We got Christopher saying, hey, how the hell you doing, Christopher? Welcome back to the Buccateers. The Cubs are doing really good for us, brother. NFL draft season is here upon us. It's a great time to be a Bucs fan, a Cubs fan, and all that. The big Bud Cannibalist is in the house saying cheers, Christopher. Cheers to you, Bud. Hope all is going well for you, my friend. Welcome back. Been a while. Christopher, 6 strong innings for Tyon. Yeah, he was on a roll today in that little bit of a hellhole of a ballpark. The Rays did so much better with Steinbrenner Field than the A's have done. J-Lo, he's coming in. He should be here any minute. He was going to give us a rundown of Steinbrenner Field, home of the Rays. I know he was there today, but we might have to move past that now as it's draft season. We have no time to waste talking NFL draft. A lot of mock drafts going around, a lot of stuff as such. A lot of pods are doing mocks, a lot of reporters are doing mocks, the big wigs, NFL Network, ESPN, you name it. Mock drafts are popping out like babies in the year 2025, left and right. So a very, very exciting show today. Text into the program. I get this every time I wear this hat. What the hell is on your hat? The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. It's a AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. So you go from a shrimp to a marlin here on the Buccateers, I guess. But I saw one weird mock today. Saw one interesting. I catch a show when I need I feel that, brother. I feel you, my friend. It's one of those things where if you catch us, awesome. If not, no big deal. That's what the replay's for. You could catch a replay on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, and so much more. And if you are watching on YouTube or catch a replay on YouTube, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn that notification bell on so you never miss a beat. Speaking of mock drafts, though, speaking of shrimp and marlins, no, shrimp and marlins have nothing to do with it besides the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, Miami Marlins affiliation. But the NFL mock draft that my buddy Michael Plus shared today, Mr. Plus himself, shared something earlier that intrigued me, that interests me, and I wasn't a fan. Somebody mocked up the Bucs taking a tight end in round 1. And I don't think that's possible. Ryan McChrystal, nothing against you, my friend, from Sharp Football. He has the Buccaneers taking Colston Loveland round 1, who is known to be the second best tight end in this draft behind Ty Warren. No way the Bucs are going to use a first-round pick on a tight end for multiple reasons. Bud says you as well. Number one, they have their number 1 tight end on the roster. Cade Otton is a number 1 tight end when he is healthy. Number 2, they have their number 2 tight end on the roster. Payne Durham is the number 2 tight end when healthy. Number 3, they have their number 3 tight end on the roster, Devin Culp, who is a good number 3, could be better, could be a number 1 when he plays. And then they have their blocking tight end on the roster, Ko Kieft, who is a great blocking tight end. All of those individuals, Ko Kieft, Cade Otton, Devin Culp, Payne Durham. They're all 1 through 4 tight ends on any roster in the NFL, and they're all on their rookie contract. Sure, Cade Otton's due for a payday. If you want to give him that payday or not, you could save that for next offseason. If you want to extend him right now, great. Like the MLB, they're popping out extensions today. But in no way, shape, or form in hell are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to take a tight end round 1. I don't care who's there. Jason Light learned his lesson with O.J. Howard. I firmly believe if middle linebacker Jihad Campbell is there at pick number 19, he's going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I don't know any way around it. By far the best middle linebacker available in this year's NFL draft. Levante David is getting older. KJ Britt is now gone, obviously. He went to Miami. Anthony Walker, welcome aboard, but he's a depth piece. Servache Dennis, I love the kid. Great depth piece. Potential fringe starter, but he gets injured too much just to know that. Deion Jones looked good last year in limited action, but Bud is right. For sure, defense, I firmly still think 5 out of the 6 picks in this year's draft will be of the defensive variety for the Bucs. I think they're going to draft a corner. I think they're going to draft a safety. I think they're going to draft a D lineman. I think they're going to draft an edge. I think they're going to draft the linebacker. Then let's remember we have 1 pick left. Then I think that pick goes to either O-line or wide receiver. And that's not until round 4 earliest. I believe round 5 or 6, but I'll give them 4. Remember, Bucs do have a loss of a pick. They did get rid of one of their picks from this season. So let's remember that they have 6 picks, not 7. But I think that we see defense in 5 of those selections. Let's remember we did address some things this offseason to this point. We addressed some holes in this offseason to this point, but there's still more work to be done, more work to be had. So it's going to be interesting. We will give our first round predictions for the Bucs this evening, though, as our quote-unquote first round mock, the official one for the Buccateers. Every episode, we're going to bring you a pick or two, and then as the draft gets closer, we're going to do what we did last year, where we bring in outside people from other teams, podcasters, reporters that make the picks for their squads of representation. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself, he's finally here. Mr. J-Lo, how the hell you doing, brother? I know you were at the Rays game, so I offered to kick the show back to tomorrow. You declined. I'm like, man, if this motherfucker misses the show, but how you doing, brother?
Sorry, everybody. Technology, what can you do, man? It's a hit or miss when it comes to technology. I pay my bill on time, but, they want to mess around and hold me off, but I'm here.
Yeah, I'll make sure of that. I'll see if you're paying up to bills, but no, we do love technology. It happens to the best of us. I'll say this much. Technology didn't help the Rays today, although Steinbrenner Field looks beautiful. Paul Skeens is a machine. I know you were at the game. You brought your daughter for the first time, so very special moment for you. Albeit the loss, how is Steinbrenner Field? I'll tell you what, from the naked eye on TV, it looks miles and miles better than the A's stadium for multiple reasons. The first being that the Rays actually made theirs feel like home. Secondly, the Rays are the only team that play at their stadium, while the A's, share with the AAA ballpark. So give us a feel on the field, and B, what's the crowd like? What's the energy like? How did the daughter enjoy the game? Just give us a rundown of A and B.
I will say it's been a sellout. There was a big crowd today, and there were some Pirate fans. The Pittsburgh fans, they travel for their teams. Gotta give them some love on that.
Does it feel like a full capacity, or does it feel smaller because it's a smaller venue?
To me, full capacity, but it was manageable to where bathroom lines were manageable to where I can go to the bathroom, have to wait a long time. The food was on point. I can't complain. I mean, it felt like home. It felt like, you're at a real Rays baseball game in Tampa Bay where it should be. It was hot. I will say that. Going during the day when it's like the high was like 90s, but my wonderful 3-year-old made it. She survived. Enjoyed some popcorn, looking at the Pittsburgh, pretty much relievers warming up and all that. And I gotta say, that pitcher for Pittsburgh, you gotta give him his flowers. The guy's a stud.
Paul Skeens is incredible.
Oh, Paul Skeens was incredible, and I was very lucky to get tickets to catch him perform. No knock on the Rays. We're still up and coming. We're still starting the season. I'm starting to see, the difference with some of the lineup we have as far as batters go. And I think we'll be okay. I remember Katz mentioned the other day, I was kind of being a little Debbie Downer on the Rays a little bit, but I can tell that the team has potential. And then once we get Shane McClanahan back, I think we'll be able to pull off some more games.
He has
But,
bad luck.
I mean, the whole team. I mean, Josh Lowe, this big time outfielder, who's a stud at times, but then he gets hurt. Palacio, the guy I caught the baseball with when I was up in Chicago, he's not playing yet. So, they're still working on getting that lineup together. It takes time. Luckily, there's like 100-something games of baseball, so to give the team a chance to compete. But, hey, 4-2, I'll take it. It's a good start. I mean, you beat bad teams. No knock on Pittsburgh, Colorado. But let's be honest here.
Pittsburgh could be okay down the road. I know they're not great right now, but it's a good time to play them because I do think they might come around a little bit.
No, and they can, but to me as a Rays fan, they took care of business. They won back-to-back series. You'll take that any day of the week. You win the series if it's, 2 games or a sweep, but you take it. But overall, I mean, I was very enjoyed Steinbrenner Field, closer to home, very convenient leaving going home, by the way, Tones. I will tell you that. Not having to
How does it look next to Ray J?
I mean, I feel like I'm at home. I mean, compared to Ray J, look at the stadium right across from my view where I was sitting at. I mean, it felt like a Tampa Bay team. I felt like the fans want to be there. And like I said, the amount, yes, Christopher Cole said 10,000 plus fans. Yeah, it's phenomenal. That's what you want to do. You want to fill those seats up. You want to build the fan base up, even though we got Bozo Stew, which can be another conversation. But for the most part, I liked it. It was enjoyable. I definitely will be going back. But it'll be more of a night game, not a day game, because the Heat definitely had some effect today.
And that's why for those unaware, they're trying to front load their home game schedule to March, April, May, and September, and kind of give the summer months more so of the road trips because, as J-Lo alluded to, it gets very hot, which we know with Ray J. Ray J gets very hot, especially in the preseason games in August, so it'll overlap right with those Rays games. They do have home series every now and then throughout the summer, but they try and strategically put them in March, April, May, and September more so to let the cooler weather in. Olivia says, hi, friends. Hi, Olive. Always love our lady listeners. Chris says Skeens will be traded in a few years. Book it. We'll see. We'll open that book down the road. But for now, we're opening our draft book where Corey says, in my opinion, it's either Campbell, Starks, Izaraku, and an under-the-radar guy, Barron. Well, I mean, I like where your head's at, but yeah, those have been a lot of the rumored guys to the Bucs, so none of that would really be a surprise. J-Lo, this is our round 1 Buccateers mock draft. You and myself, we're going to keep track of our picks as we always do. We've hit the nail on the head with some picks the past couple of years. Some examples in particular, Payne Durham, Graham Barton, Jalen McMillan, we had us taking Devin Culp, and then a handful of others along the last couple seasons as well. So we've hit the nail on the head here with several selections on the Buccateers. So J-Lo, we're going to try and do the same this year with our expertise. Round 1, I know we're friends with a lot of insiders, a lot of reporters, a lot of other Bucs podcasters, a lot of NFL guys in general. Where do you see the Bucs going round 1? I still believe the Bucs will take 5 out of 6 defenders with their picks. What say you? Round 1, GM J-Lo on the clock. Are you going with one of Corey's Fantastic Four? Or are you heading elsewhere?
I mean, he's pretty accurate. Shout out to Corey. That's really accurate what the Bucs are looking at. I'll take either one of those guys, especially the first 3, Campbell, Starks, or Zaraku. To me, it's looking like it's going to be Stotts or Zaraku. I think Campbell will go ahead unless we trade up, and I just don't see us having enough picks to trade up to get him. So I'm fine with Zaraku or Starts. To me, starts can play safety, corner, nickel. You can put them anywhere you want in your defense, which is really key because that's what really killed us last year. We were down to no respect to Terry front of a friend of the show, being put out into the fire against the pros, and then you had also Hayes, to me, who's a special teamer more than a starter. So starts, you can go wrong with him. Arazaraku, you can't build enough pass rushers. I feel you load them up because Haason Reddick is not a guarantee long term. He's just a 1-year rental for what it looks like. You have to give no pits for him. But Razaraku, you can't run any of those pits. Or if not, trade down. Trade down, accumulate some more pits, maybe a day 4, day 3 pit, a third rounder, trade down. That's what I would do too. But I would go with even one of those 3 he just mentioned. You can't go wrong with any of those.
But
I
who
would
is your official round 1 pick? Who is J-Lo's round 1 pick?
I'm going to go with Malachi Starks from Georgia, safety corner, nickel corner, who can play all over the field. That would be my pick in the first round, if available, which I think he will. I can see him falling to 19, or maybe trade up to get him. But that's my pick. I got Starks from Georgia. I feel you build the DB room up.
I like that pick, and you've been on to him for quite some time. What about Malachi Starks caught your eye?
The fact that familiarity with our wonderful nickel rookie from last year, who's going to go to transition to safety, they got familiarity, so it wouldn't be that long of a playbook study. Because, like Topo says, the cornerback room is the easiest to learn in his defense compared to a middle linebacker. So to me, Starks can play anywhere. He can play nickel. You can put him outside. God
And the
forbid.
Bucs like that with guys like Izzy
Yeah.
and with guys like Tyke Smith. They prove that they like those more versatile defensive backs.
And plus, you can utilize Antoine Winfield more and not always rely on him to be the every down person. You can rotate, create packages, which Bulls likes to do. You get that in there. I'm comfortable with the pass rush group we got now with Haason and Yaya on the outside, which I'm fine with. I think Braswell will come
And we have
up.
some breaking Haason Reddick news. Nothing major, but we'll get to that later in the show. But I'm excited for him. But keep going, J-Lo.
But to me, I feel like Hassan's in the right mind. He's in a winning culture organization. Let's face it, Tones. To me, I feel like we got a good group of people, individuals. You add Starts in there to help the DB room. You can use them anywhere you want. Because obviously Dean's not going anywhere, which I'm fine with. That's fine. He can stay. He can be the starter or he'll get beat up by whatever corner we draft in the second or third round, which we can get to later. But Starts, I feel, will fit perfect. And you can't go wrong with these Georgia defensive players. They produce. They are great players. They're ready to play right away. Look at Tyke Smith from last year. Now you get another Georgia Bulldog in there. You can put a nickel, outside, or safety. Take your pick. He can play 3 to 4 positions, which you want in your DB room. I'll take it any day of the week.
And I like that pick. Again, you can't really go wrong with a lot of the defenders that are projected to be available. I was talking earlier, J-Lo, our friend Michael Plus, Mr. Plus. Again, if you call him Doctor any longer, we're going to headhunt you. So please refer to him as Michael or Mr. But J-Lo, our great friend of Real Bucs Talk, shared a mock draft, and it foolishly had the Bucs taking Loveland, the tight end from Michigan. I think there's literally a 0% chance the Buccaneers go tight end in round 1.
I'll be happy wherever Pitt decides because he knows best for the team. But I do agree with you. Drafting a tight end in the first round, I'm not with that. I'm fine with Auden, Payne Durham, who's a playmaker that we've been talking about many times on the shows we've run. And then you got Devin Culp, who showed up at the end of the season when we need.
Like I said earlier, you got your tight end 1, Cade Otton. Your tight end 2, Payne Durham or Devin Culp. Your tight end 3, Payne Durham or Devin Culp. And your blocking tight end and O'Keefe. And they're all on rookie deals. Sure, you might extend Otton eventually, but there's really no need for a tight end, in my opinion. What do you do then? You're going to cut Keefe or Culp or Payne Durham? Because that's what you would have to do.
Unless they're going to trade Cade Otton, they can't go with a contract extension, but it just doesn't make sense. Like I said from the get-go of the offseason, Tones, this is about going defense. You build your depth on the defense. The offense is fine. We signed our guys. We got the people familiarity because they carried the team last year. Let's be honest. Now you focus on the defense, which would make no sense drafting a tight end. Or not. If you want to draft a tight end, trade down. Trade down, accumulate picks. You know, if you're going to really take a tight end.
I just rule out a tight. I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Because
and I agree with you. I don't. So I don't know where that came from. I just don't see that happening at all.
To me, if you take a tight end early, that pretty much means you're ruling out not an extension.
Yes. Or, I mean, if anything, Tones, they'd probably go wide receiver. If one of those receivers was there, maybe. I think the Bucs would take that over a tight end if it became a last option. Let's be honest here. But to me, they're going to go defense most of this draft. And tight end in the first round, it's not happening. We have bad luck in the first round with tight ends.
Yeah, the Bucs have 6 picks. Remember, they traded one of their picks, so they got 6 remaining. And again, I think they go 5 of the 6 will be defense. I think 1 D lineman, 1 edge, 1 linebacker, 1 safety, 1 corner. And then I think that 6th pick could ultimately be either a wide receiver or offensive lineman, or potentially even a 3rd quarterback, something offensively. But I think 5 out of the 6 defense, and I think 1 offense. Bud says Light sets up nicely with a few additions that allow flexibility in the first. Hard to say who's going to be there at 19. Give me front 7. I couldn't agree more, Bud. That's why I'm going Jihad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama. And I know a couple people brought up his medicals. Katz brought up his medicals. I don't think it's too big of a concern. I think it's more fluff, smoke, and mirrors. Remember, this is a time of year GMs, agents, other people start melting pot rumors. I would love a Jihad Campbell, but I will say, as Bud pointed out, front 7, never ruled Jason Light out of taking a defensive lineman or a member of the front 7 early on. Some of his first-round picks in years past or first picks of the draft, Logan Hall, JTS, Kalijah Cansey, he has a knack to pick big body D linemen or edges early. So although I don't think they do that, I think they draft Jihad Campbell, who presumably is the number 1 linebacker in this draft if he's there. I mean, look at some of the other linebackers. The Lions drafted the kid from Iowa State. He helped turn their defense around. I don't love taking one of the top 5 Devin Whites of the world. They proved a lot that, they're really boom or bust. Devin Bushes of the world, other individuals out there. But the later on they last, the more they fall, the more of a bargain bin type deal they are. I think it's incredible value. And again, to me, you start Levante David and Jihad Campbell out there together. Then you got a really great linebacking backup core with Anthony Walker, with Deion Jones, with Servachier Dennis. So you're really growing the brand there, Jayla. What do you think of a Jihad Campbell?
To me, Jihad Campbell, like I mentioned earlier, depth is very important. I wouldn't knock it. I feel Campbell's going to fall. I feel like his stock is going to fall because from what I'm hearing, it could be September to October, depending on his injury, the recovery time, which I won't knock. I'll take him either way because we got, 2 experienced starting linebackers in the past with Levante David to get paired with the Dennis. So I wouldn't say no to it. But if I'm going to take Campbell, I would trade down. Trade down.
I don't think he's going to last down. I don't know if he even lasts to the Bucs at 19.
And that's where it could, go either way. He could go before the Bucs. It just depends. But let's be honest, Tones. Would you really trade up to get a Jihad Campbell?
I would not trade up. No, I don't think I would trade up in this draft. I think there's enough bodies, enough intrigue and names and individuals there at number 19, where even if it's not a Jihad Campbell, again, you got the edge from Boston College as Ruke, who looks good. You got Starks, you got Jihad Campbell. You always look at Kalijah Cansey. He was a change, change in a change purse that Jason Light pulled out from under the couch cushion. And I watched film on the kid tonight, and I'm like, where did he pull him from? This kid's incredible. Kalijah Cansey, I was watching his college film on the night we took him round 1. He's dropping back in coverage. He's making plays. It's like, so whatever we do, it will be defense. I'm 99% sure about that. And I do full-heartedly trust Jason Light. But when I look at the draft board, You know, the edge from Boston College, Ezeraku would be my backup. I think he would be my choice too. I wouldn't mind a Malachi Starks either, but based on what it sounds like, you know, people on Twitter crack me up too. Oh, my guess is Bucks take Starks, Campbell, or Ezeraku. It's like, really? No shit, my friend. But J-Lo, this is reminding me more of last year type where it was very heavily rumored that the Bucks were going to take a center, either Graham Barton or Frazier, pretty much in a lot of mock drafts, and they held true with the Barton pick. This is reminding me a lot more like there, where you could pin the 2 to 3 guys more so than last year or 2 years ago with Kalijah Cansey. People had like 10 to 20 different mock drafts out there, which is a Jason Light thing. Unpredictable 1 year, predictable. I think it's more so the Starks, Campbell, Ezeraku. What say you?
And that's where I think I agree with you as well. But that's what I think about the draft, because you really don't know what Light and the staff is putting together.
And you don't know how the board falls either.
No.
You might have a guy ranked number 1 who is still there at 19.
Well, just like the dude from Michigan, the corner, Campbell. No, sorry, not Campbell. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm getting way off track here. But I think it's Johnson, Will Johnson from Michigan. He could fall. That'd be a guy I would take in a heartbeat. Yeah, he has some injury prone last year, but injuries happen. But to me, you're going to go.
And he's projected right around the 15 to 20 range.
Exactly. I wouldn't knock that either. But if they took Campbell 19, I wouldn't knock it. But fans are going to have to be patient and wait the process, let him heal, let him learn the playbook. And on the bright side, you got Deion Jones. You got the other guy we brought from Miami. Sorry, I'm forgetting his name.
Anthony Walker.
2 experienced starting linebackers. You got Savasi Dennis, who I think is ready to step in and be a starter, but can he stay healthy? So I would be fine with Campbell because we wouldn't have to rush him in there right away. And you never know. He could slide on in the middle of the season where he could be a clutch player. But I do agree, 90% is going to be defense. And if it's Campbell, if it's Johnson, if it's Starks, if it's a Ezeraku, I'll take any of those guys. I think all of them potentially could be at 19, or at least 2 out of the 4 we're talking about here. But that's where we're feeling could happen. But Light could go a deep route and throw us all off. Like Elijah Cansey.
The great Emily says, hi, everyone. Hope you and all in the chat are well and everything is going good. Time off with football. What is up with Gene? Is he doing some time somewhere? Well, actually, funny you mentioned Gene. He was on the last episode of Cops. I don't know if you saw the Pinellas County special. No, I'm kidding. Gene's just enjoying the off season. He's enjoying himself, having a good time, hanging out. We'll get the great Gene from Buck What You Heard back. But the man's been podcasting forever, for lifetimes. Let him enjoy himself. Let him get a break. Yeah. I know we love the big guy, and we miss him too. We're with you, Emily. We wish he was here too, but well-deserved time off. He's not done podding. He's not done with the Buccateers. He didn't go anywhere. He's not done with Buck What You Heard. It's just like a wrestler's hiatus. They'll be back. No worries. But we do love to have you, Emily. We hope you are doing well. You're a great lady listener, friend of ours, and it means a lot you tune into the Buccateers even in the off season. We are talking NFL draft. We each made our first round mock draft pick. J-Lo took Malachi Starks, a DB from Georgia, not to get confused with Malachi Black from AEW. And I took Jihad Campbell, the linebacker himself from Bama. Obviously, 2 more notorious choices if you look at a lot of mock drafts and stuff. But hey, that's what mock drafts are for, to make the picks. It's like fantasy football. You never know until you know. Sometimes things change right then and there. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, people draft differently, take differently. So you never know. But J-Lo, what say you on, say Starks is gone, Campbell's gone, Ezeraku's gone. We know Jason Light does love his big men. If a guy like, Derek Harmon falls a little bit, the D lineman from Oregon, who, is a big boy up the middle. And we know William Golston's probably gone. We know Gaines and Brewer are back on 1-year deals. We know we still have Cansey and Logan Hall. But, a guy like JTS is gone. Just say if a guy like Kenneth Grant is there, say a guy like Derek Harmon is there, some beefier defensive linemen. Do you think Jason Light might go, hey, we'll take a shot here? Big man Grant is from Michigan as well.
No, absolutely. You want to build that D-line room up because also Logan Hall is on a contract year. So depending how he finishes, do you really want to pay him the money or you get a young rookie in there to play under him, maybe even take his job how he does? I wouldn't knock that either. By that point in time, if those players are gone, I think you trade down, get a late first round or early second day pick. You get a third or a fourth to go with it. I'll be all for it. To me, there's so much talent in the D tackle room to where they can take one later rounds.
I agree. I was
That,
just speculating if everybody's off their board and, but yeah, I mean, we've seen Light do that before and trade back and take Logan Hall, right? So maybe if you do have Starks gone, Campbell gone, Azaraku gone, maybe they trade back, but that's the only way I see them trading back personally is if all those guys are gone and then maybe trade back and take a D lineman.
I mean, if they could trade back and get that receiver from Ohio State.
No, I don't want a receiver.
I figure you say that.
You're talking about Enigma?
Yeah, I like him, but that's just my opinion is you trade down and you get, the next person on your board in later rounds. You don't have to go and pick at 19 because it's going to be people hungry to trade
Igbuka,
up.
I'm sorry. Igbuka, butchered his name.
Emeka
Igbuka. Man, that's a tongue. Say that 10 times fast. Mega Igbuka. I'm already screwing up.
But you can also get the corner from ECU that I know Michael Pless has brought up in a few times, Peter Report and all that. Shout out to all them. He's another guy, but at the same time, I feel like he's a second-round guy. You can get second round who will fall because of his injury from last year, and then how much of 100% he is. But to me, I think at that point, you trade down into the best player available, D tackle, linebacker, safety corner. They're out there. There's so much talent at corner as well to where you don't have to take a corner in the first round. But to me, you trade back. You accumulate another pick or two. That's what I would do if those players are gone, which I don't think that's the case. I think 2 out of the 4 will be there at 19 to where we'll make our pick.
Yep, I agree. And this mock draft is funny. The one that has Colson Loveland to the Bucs. Azaraku was the 32nd projected pick. I don't know if he falls that far, man. That'd be an incredible fall. No. That would be a really big fall.
Unless there's some story behind, the background of why he might have fallen. But to me, from what I've been noticing, he's been checking out fine. And he could go a couple picks before us. So if we really want him, if he's the main guy like we were with Tristan Wirfs in 2020, we're going to have to trade up to get him.
I know Katz is interested in Nick Imanaware just in case the safety if he was available.
6'3", runs 4.29 or 4.3. I wouldn't knock it, but because potentially moving Tyke Smith to safety as a starter, now you got to fill his nickel role. But I wouldn't knock it because then you got depth at safety. But if you're paying Antoine Winfield Jr. making the highest paid safety in the NFL or second best now at this point, and then you got Tyke Smith who could play the position just as well on the other side of him, why take a chance on him? Now, if you trade back and he falls to like 30 or 31, then yeah, take him. You build depth because that's where we lacked that last year was depth at the DB in the edge room, in my opinion on that. Well, I shouldn't say that about the linebacker room. Sorry, the linebacker room.
Breaking news for video game fans out there. If you're a fan of the Madden series, the EA Sports Madden franchise, that's one of the better ones around. They got a new voice of the game. Guess who, J-Lo, if you had a guess?
The voice of the game, you said?
Yep, the new in-game voice for Madden.
Tough.
It's Scott Hansen from NFL Red Zone. NFL Red Zone Scott Hansen has been named the new in-voice persona for EA Sports Madden. Our guy Icewater Olson, the great JT Olson of Bucs Resort, says, let it be Greg Olson. Yeah, I mean, he has more free time on his hands without having the number 1 spot, but it's Scott Hansen from Red Zone. What say you on that, J-Lo?
I'm all for it. I love Scott Hansen. Whenever the Bucs aren't playing, I enjoy watching his play-by-play on Red Zone. Hey, shout out, man! Congrats. That's a good pick. I like Scott Hansen.
So J-Lo, let's say we both picked our round one possibilities, Jihad Campbell, Malachi Starks. We each gave a little taste of other options to look at round one, Azaraku and more, Barron, maybe some D linemen if they're out there. You mentioned receiver, maybe if you trade back. Christopher Cole says maybe trade back 2 to 3 spots. And millions, the great JC Allen in the building. We got JT, JC. It's getting wild up in here. It's like WrestleMania weekend. JC
Oof.
probably all excited for that, and the millions. But J-Lo, as we wrap up our draft talk and move on, because sadly we have a lot to get to. Next Wednesday we're going to do rounds 2 and 3 of our Buccaneers picks. So we're going to bring you rounds 2 and 3. The following Wednesday we're going to close it out with our last 3 picks, and then we're going to start our fun stuff. So next week we'll do 2 and 3. Then our other picks will be to follow the following Wednesday. But J-Lo, wrap up draft talk for us. Any last thoughts on the upcoming draft, whether it's the Bucs or the NFL in general, in Lambeau Field? Dan Patrick Show will be there. They'll be at the bar right outside called The View. So if you're in Green Bay, go check out Dan Patrick Show.
I mean, if I have funds, man, I'll take my butt over to Green Bay and celebrate my birthday week. I mean, for the draft. It's the day
Like you did here last year.
The day after my 35th birthday. I'll be turning 35 the day before the draft. I would love to go to Green Bay, experience the crowd, the draft vibe, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's always in the future. I can always make plans for that. But it's coming real soon. It's getting closer to where we're gonna have our new players with to me the first 4 roundstones you can mark it. They're gonna be starters or have some kind of role in making plays to help us win football games. Because I really think this is a Super Bowl window to where now we go in the draft to where Bowles loves rookies. He loves playing the young guys and getting them ready. He's not afraid to throw them out there and put them out there to go play when their number's called. So the draft's gonna be fun. It's one of most of our favorite events of the offseason. I enjoy it, studying the players, even our division opponents, see who they pick and figure out, okay, are they going to be much of a threat? You never know. But for us, that love the game of football, that love to go through the whole process, this is going to be like the Super Bowl of nerds when it comes to, seeing these prospects get picked by NFL teams, especially being Bucs, because we have nailed the draft the last 2 years, really 3, depending on how the players finish their final year of their contract. But this is our time. This is what Light does best. He drafts the right players to go in there and plug them in. And you never know who it's going to be. It could be offensive, not that we all want it, but you never know. It's all up to Light, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
I'm excited for the draft as well. I did see something floating around Twitter earlier. We're going to get more into Bucs news here now. J-Lo Tampa Tones here on the Buccateers for a little bit longer on a Wednesday, a hump day. Dr. Plus in the house. Yeah, we love
Michael Pless.
I know it. And I just said earlier myself, if you call him doctor, I'm gonna come and kill you. So I guess I'm done. I'm gone. I'm like what's that little dude's name in South Park in the Orange who
Kenny.
dies a lot. Yeah, I just Kenny'd myself. I just committed crime here. But plus we did make the official name change announcement for you, calling him Mr. Plus, Michael Plus, or Real Bucs Talk Plus earlier, my friend. We hope you enjoyed that little back and forth there, but we're catching up. And for those that don't know, Real Bucs Talk, obviously all our listeners probably know by now, as he's on the show a ton, but Plus and his partner do a great job over there breaking down film of incoming draft prospects, and they really have a good pod over there and a great channel. So be sure to go to Real Bucs Talk on YouTube or on Twitter today, and make sure you follow those guys, just like you follow us at the Buccateers on YouTube, on Twitter, and then on Instagram at Buccateers Pod. So J-Lo, keeping up with some Bucs news. I think it may have been fake because the tweet was deleted, but Aaron Wilson said earlier that the Bucs reworked Mike Evans' deal, and Greg Allman and Evan Winter both quote tweeted it, but I see the post being deleted now. So I got a text about it. We'll wait to confirm. I think it's fake news for now, though, until I see it confirmed by more people out there. I'm not going to go ahead and run with that. So for the texter who did text that in, assume it's fake news for now. I know the great Greg Allman quote tweeted it. I know Evan Winter did as well, but Aaron Wilson got faked out earlier this offseason. He might have again here. That's some Bucs news to catch up on. And then J-Lo, other Bucs news. Looks like Tampa Talktown has some competition. WDAE's been the flagship radio station for years and years and years. They got friend of the show, Pat Donovan, holding down the fort over there. The great T-Crass, Ronnie Lane's a part of over there. But it seems like ESPN Tampa's making a comeback. And Rick Stroud did tweet that he's going to have his own show on ESPN Tampa. There's a lot of great personalities out there. Us. No, just kidding. But a lot of great people out there to fill some shoes over there. Never a bad thing to have some competition in the mix. I mean, no offense, WDAE, they have 2 national shows back-to-back now to span 6 hours. Nobody wants to hear – I love Dan Patrick, but I'm sorry, the Herd right after Dan Patrick, that's why I shout out to Jay Retcher. I still listen to his podcast during lunch because it gives you the local media perspective. J-Lo, thoughts on Rick Stroud and ESPN in Tampa kind of making a comeback? I know they were a thing about a decade or so back.
I mean, love it or hate it, Rich Stroud, I think he's a perfect one for that position. And I know he will be great competition for WAE between T-Grass and all the wonderful people over there. To me, I feel competition brings best out of everybody. And I feel it's going to put Tampa more on the map in the, in the outer media world. Because we got our local fans that tune in our show and we appreciate you. But now, you got Rich Stroud, who's pretty well connected, in my opinion, at this point. Even though I hated on him with some of his reporting, but the guy's on his stuff. He knows what he's doing. So I feel it'll be fun to watch. It's more excitement for the Tampa Bay area, not just for Bucs, but for Rays, Lightning. I mean, it's going to help us out a lot, so I'm all for it.
I'm all for it as well, my friend. And speaking of all for it, Emily says, I know this is out of topic, but do you remember them mentioning they will bring back the Redskins logo when you had those wash guys on while they were talking about doing it and I'd love it. I'd love it. It's been rumored for years now that they might dip their toes into that. I don't know if they'll ever get the name back, which I wish they did. I'm just tired. You had the Commanders, Redskins, football team. It's hard to catch wind all of a sudden. And to me, Commanders sounds more appropriate for a UFL squad, for an XFL squad, for an indoor football league team. I'm a Redskins guy. Hell, I would have left it at football team. But Emily, that's great. I think Redskins logo is one of the best traditions in the biz. So I'm all for bringing that back. But yeah, kudos to ESPN Radio in Tampa. If they do launch, as our guy Richard says, happy hump day, everyone. Happy hump day to you, Richard, out on the West Coast in California. Love our Californian listeners, but all for competition. The more radio, the merrier. It would be interesting to see how it, look at how good wrestling got when AEW strolled along. The competition upward, and it was great to see wrestling on display. Speaking of display, we're displaying a new weekly schedule until July. Catch us every Wednesday night at about 5:50 p.m. Eastern, shifting from Tuesday to Wednesday, and then every Saturday or Sunday morning about 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. So for the off season, we're Wednesday nights and Tuesday or Wednesday nights and Saturday or Sunday mornings. And then come July, we shift back to our Tuesday and Saturday schedule for the football season. Speaking of season, J-Lo, Haason Reddick revealed his jersey number for the season. Formerly worn by Mr. Richard Sherman, Haason Reddick is choosing number 5. What are your thoughts about Mr. Reddick choosing the number 5, our big-time free agent off-season acquisition? Well, we're number 5 for the Bucs.
No, I like it. He's trying to go something different. 7 didn't work out for the Jets. It worked out for Philly in the last year there. So I'm all for it. Number 5. The only number 5s I can think of in Bucs history is Josh Freeman and what you just mentioned earlier for the great Richard Sherman when he was here I believe the punter we had that didn't work out. Now he's in Buffalo. So I'm all for it.
Camarda.
Camarda, thank you. To me, he might be able to create a legacy. We'll see. I'm all for it. It throws off some quarterbacks. Some quarterbacks don't like the single digits on a defender coming at him some odd reason. But I'm all for it. New number, new change, new environment for him. For him to go out there and go earn that big contract he feel he deserves. If he deserves it, go out there, be the number 5, on your jersey. Go out there, represent.
Represent indeed, and congrats to the Wirfs family on 1 year of having a child. Julius turned 1, so great to see there. Really good stuff. As we move on to the Buccateers program, Abraham Cherry gives us a shout out on Twitter. Thank you, Mr. Abraham. Bucky should have given up 7. That is a trash number for running back. Yeah, all these numbers are still weird. Bucky the Buck could fit better in another number. Number 7 ain't terrible for him, but yeah, give it up, let Reddick have it, and make some money in the process, right? But, guys like Chris Godwin, too, maybe his mentality is, hey, I don't want to make fans buy a new jersey. That's what Chris Godwin said when T-Kraz on the drive on WDAE asked him, and he thought of switching back to 12. He goes, I'm sticking with 14. And it's kind of crazy to think about that he's actually been 14 longer now. So we'll see what happens as it goes on. Thoughts, J-Lo?
To me, Bucky Irving has earned the right to pick what number he chooses. If he wants 7, let him have 7. He hasn't proven us any reason to doubt him as a player. And if he likes 7, let him keep 7. Yeah, I understand, respect for Haason Reddick, but Bucky's been here for 1 year. He's proven to be probably one of the top 10 running backs in the league, if you ask me, because you see the plays he makes. So if he wants to stay at 7, let him stay at 7. Yeah, maybe it's not the sexiest number to certain people, but to me, if he's performing, I'll go rock a fucking Bucky Irving jersey number 7. If he's helping us win football games, making plays. To me, he was the most entertaining player on offense, to me, besides Baker Mayfield last season, if you ask me, if that makes any sense at all. Because the guy makes plays. He breaks tackles, he spins. And number 7, okay, he's number 7. Let him have it. Who cares? If it's a trash number to you, okay, it's your opinion. But to me, he's earned that right to claim that number. He shouldn't have to give it up to a player. Yes, he's had some greatness in the NFL, but he didn't come here to earn that number. Bucky's already been here year 1 has earned that number. That's just my opinion. Number 7's fine with me on Bucky Irving.
Just crazy, the number swappages these days. Rashad White went from 29 to 1 a couple of years back, but the rule change of jersey numbers opened up a whole new can of worms. We've seen Lenny F wear number 7. I like them way more in 28 than in number
Agreed.
7. So, yeah, I would like if Bucky changed his number, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be ho-hum about it. I'd prefer him not being 7, but if he loves 7, let him wear 7. And his reasoning could be as much as he likes it, or like Chris Godwin's. I love Chris Godwin's answer. Hey, I'm keeping one foe. Again, J-Lo, isn't it crazy to you that 14 has been Godwin's number longer than 12? I don't know why that just blows my mind.
No, it is. It's wild. But out of respect for Chris Godwin, he embraced it. He embraced that number 14 out of respect for Tom Brady, who's the greatest player of all time, or at least that quarterback, I can say, for that most part. I mean, Godwin embraced on it, and look what it's given him. It's given him 2 big contracts since he's changed that number, right? I mean, he got franchised as number 14. Then he got the contract in 2022, and now he got another contract in 2025. We gave him a new contract. So to me, maybe he's embracing that number as 14. He's like, okay, he's creating a legacy with that number. Yeah, 12 to me, it was hard for him because that was his number all through his high school, all through his football career. But if you look at 14, he's got the bigger contracts with that. So maybe that's why he's embracing on 14, because he's made his money. He's made plays at 14. Even though he did blow up in 2019, that year number 12, which was his last year wearing number 12. But then if you look at it, the guys maintain 1,000 yards each season besides the 21 season. No, he had over 1,000 yards. I'm lying. But I'm saying is the guy's been consistent, and to me, 14 has got him the money and the pay that he deserves.
He could be onto something, our guy Icewater Olson, saying that could be the reason we lost J-Lo. I don't know. He could have a good point.
Yeah,
All right, no comment there. We'll keep moving on. But Haason Reddick in 5 will be interesting. I don't know if he even tried to get 7 from Bucky. I don't know if he settled on 5 or what the case may be, but it has to be harder for QBs nowadays. Maybe they're getting a little more used to it, but man, seeing all those different jersey numbers used to be cut and dry. Now anyone can almost do what the hell they want. Cleveland me speak when spoken to J-Lo. Yeah, I thought he was farting or constipated for a minute. I'm just kidding around there.
Get out of here, Cleveland me.
He says he's gonna find you, my friend. So Cleveland me threatening J-Lo, and Haason Reddick is threatening J-Lo too, because he couldn't reply to his jersey number rebuttal. No, I'm just kidding. But we have a couple more segments left here on the Buccateers podcast on this hump day or new day Wednesday. J-Lo, fun thing, the Glaziers talked about updating Ray J. Not official yet, but quickly thoughts, 60 seconds or less, and a potentially updated Raymond James. For all the hubbub about the Trop and the new Trop, we have the Glaziers possibly updating our beautiful football mecca in the 813.
Please put Raptors. Please. If you want to keep it open field, that's fine. But put Raptors like Miami has the Hard Rock to block the sun from hitting the fans. Or if you want to hit the fans that bad, hit the opponent fans on the visitor side. But to me, Raptors, I think, is what's needed at Ray J, especially if we play a lot of 1 and 4 o'clock games. I'm hoping that the Glaziers come true to their word, which I think they will compared to Bozo Stew. I feel the Glaziers will get something nice going, for the stadium to where hopefully we won't have to sit out too long out of the stadium, maybe 1 year. But give us rafters at least. If you don't want to go dome, that's okay. I get it. It's an advantage. But at least put rafters to block the sun from the fans' faces. Because when I went to Miami, the Hard Rock, that was lovely. Rafters, in the nosebleeds, chilling, not sweating my you-know-what off. And it worked out fine. So please put Raptors. That's all I request of the Bucs fans. Please put Raptors at Ray J.
Yeah, personally, I don't want a dome. I think I like having the outdoor advantage of no dome if I had to choose. But I wouldn't mind rafters or things of that nature to try and keep the place a little more tame and cool and that sort of nature. But at the same token, it doesn't really bother me as such if they don't. But we'll see how it goes. Pops text into the show, Bucs and Ravens plan to have joint practices this summer. Usually you see it with a couple teams with the Bucs, usually one in Florida and one not. It'll be interesting. They usually do with Jacksonville, but after the Liam Cohen stuff, if they do again or not. But it is announced that there are joint practices with the Ravens on the horizon. J-Lo, quick thoughts to that before we get to the NFL owners meetings and GM and coaches, etc.
No, I like it. I'm all about joint practices, and I think Baltimore will be a good team to join practice with because Lamar is a whole different level during the season, and I know we're going to have quarterbacks coming into next season. We're going to have to chase around when it comes to Jalen Hurts, which we own him. I ain't worried about him. But you got Kyler Murray who can run around like a little kid, chasing from an ass whooping. But to me, I feel it's a good practice. It's a good organization. Baltimore has a winning culture when it comes to competing. Fortunately, they come short in the playoffs, but I'm all for it. Bring on the joint practices.
I love joint practices. Couple other jersey number announcements, quick, of new Buccaneers. Anthony Walker will wear number 3. The linebacker from the Dolphins, former Colt as well, will wear number 3 with the Bucs. Riley Dixon, not to be mistaken for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka this year. He'll be sporting number 9. So fun stuff over there. Kendall Vilder, new defensive back, going to wear number 22, not to be mistaken with Keyshawn Vaughn over there. And then we have Charlie Heck, number 77, not to be confused with Carl Nix, or new swing tackle Charlie Heck. So J-Lo, any fun stuff there for you? Once again, Haason Reddick 5, Charlie Heck 77. Kendall Velder, 22. Riley Dixon, 9. Anthony Walker, 3.
Nope, just all new numbers, new butts. I'll be able to recognize. Because obviously, Anton Walker is bigger than Jordan Whitehead, in my opinion. No knock on Jordan Whitehead. Wish him a speed recovery. But no, I mean,
He
they're
fell out
doing
of the grace quickly, man. He fell out of
Yeah,
good graces
he
quick.
did.
And that's maybe on him, maybe not. But anyways, the owners, coaches, GMs meetings come and go, J-Lo. A lot of interesting rules talked about. Tush push, one of the bigger ones. Defensive holding, one of the bigger ones. What say you on anything you may have heard from the coaches, GMs, owners meetings? Anything that tickle your fancy? Anything that catches your eye? Anything that you may not be a fan of?
Well, I will tell you this: the overtime rule change was best for business. Now both
I
teams
just
get
wish it
paid
was
football.
15 minutes instead of 10. That's my only thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks. I don't know why they should just kept it at 15. They get paid. They get paid plenty of money to play football. I don't see why. What the problem is knocking it 5 minutes down. But I'm glad at least both teams will get possessions, have a touchdown in the game because it cost us 2 or 3 games last season.
The
We get
Chiefs
the ball
game, I
first.
was there on Monday night.
Between the Chiefs, the Falcons game, the first one, overtime, you were there for both. You were there for both, Tones. So I think everybody should be more excited as you because you witnessed it twice. So now both teams get possession. I think that's awesome. Defensive holding, it is what it is. I mean, that's not a totally big deal for me, honestly. I think the main point was the overtime because that right there sealed a lot of games that could have been won by other team besides the Chiefs, who get away with it all the time, win the coin toss. So now I'm glad they changed that. That's the way it needs to be. But it
Christmas
shouldn't
on
have
a Thursday this year. We get 3 Christmas games this season, so that'll be a lot of fun. 2 are on Netflix, 1 is on Amazon Prime. So the NFL loves Thursdays. They love Christmas. Here they go. I think they're really gonna knock the NBA off of their block on Thursday.
been.
So that's one thing that I like that they added. And then one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is a touchback resulting in the 35-yard line. I know they're trying to increase kickoffs, but a couple of things. Make up your mind. Do you want safety? Do you not? You tried to limit kickoffs for safety purposes. Now all of a sudden you're trying to ban the tush push because it's not safe, but then here you are promoting more kickoff returns. So their messaging is all over the place. Whether you like it or not, they're sending a lot of weird mixed signals. They're being not consistent and not thorough. Number 2, you get the ball at the 35 on the touchback, you're 20 yards away from field goal range. Not a fan of that at all. Number 3, people say, well, yeah, it's to make it harder on a kicker. Why don't you just move it back? Move the kickoff back and then let them still boom it. It'll be the same end result pretty much without rewarding a free 35-yard touchback. So to me, J-Lo, you could have danced around this multiple ways. I don't think they took the appropriate approach. What say you?
No, I couldn't agree more. I feel removing the tush push was kind of a bitch move. Because if you're a real defensive coach, a real NFL coach, you would figure out a way to stop the tush push because it has been stopped in the past. That to me, I think, was kind of a bitch move because shows that these defensive mind coaches.
Well, they didn't remove it yet. They just tabled discussions for now.
Well, let me take that back. Not remove it, but I'm saying, but the fact that they want to remove it, I feel like if you're a real NFL mind, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out how to stop the tush push because we stopped it 2 years ago in the wild card playoff against the Eagles. It's stoppable. Stop crying and trying to ban it when, to me, it's just part of the game. The kickoff rules, whatever, it hasn't been what it used to be back in our time, in our teenage years, watching kickoff and punt return. So now, I mean, I don't know.
Godwin, and it's not even close.
Wait, what do you say?
Cup has had a great career, but give me Godwin's, and to me, it's not even close. What say you?
Absolutely. Godwin, I feel, has had a better career. But yeah, let's compare. Who has more 1,000 yards? How many 1,000-yard seasons has Cooper Kupp really had compared to Godwin?
I think only 2.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no disrespect to Cooper Kupp. He's a great football player, but I'm taking Chris Godwin over him any day of the week. The guy was a 3rd rounder, and he's a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's only had over 1,000 yards twice, and he's only double-digit touchdowns twice.
compared to Godwin's injury played seasons, getting over 1,000 yards and making plays. Maybe not a touchdown maker at times, but the guy made third down conversions, what you want to look for. And he
Godwin
actually,
over 1,000 yards 4 times, no double-digit touchdown years, but with Mike Evans, with tight ends like Gronk, with guys like Antonio Brown, Jalen McMillan around, hard to do that. So I prefer Godwin's, but either
yeah.
Carrera, I'd be very happy. I think both are incredible wide receivers, incredible draft value. J-Lo, finish your thoughts on the rule changes, owners meetings, etc.
I mean, to me, the overtime was a bigger one. As far
My
as
only thing that I don't like about the overtime thing with it being 10 minutes, J-Lo, I love it. Both teams do need a possession. I hear you. But how many you could have a methodical 8-9 minute drive, end in a field goal or touchdown, then the other team gets 1 or 2 minutes to try and score. That's why I would have made it 15 minutes, even though it would have been unusual, even 12 minutes if you want to trim a couple minutes off. That's okay to me, but 10 to me is a little short.
especially the way the offense is run, because they'll try to run the clock down much as possible to get that touchdown. It's like, okay, now you got a minute and a half to drive the ball down the field. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I agree. I just feel it should have been at least 12 to 13 max if they really wanted to trim the 15-minute down. But at least both teams get possession of the ball, which I think is fair. Because we
I
lost
call it the Josh Allen rule. That's where they want to do it. But NFL tweaks definition of a hip drop tackle, allowing for more fines in 2025. I'm fine with that. To me, they were too lenient on the hip drop stuff last year. If you're going to implement it, do it right. It causes shorter careers. So don't do it half-ass. If you're going to implement something, do it the right way. Other news and notes before our final word. Browns set for joint practices with the Panthers and Eagles this summer. Justin Tucker's NFL review is ongoing. No updates, according to Roger Goodell. Trey Hendrickson still unsigned, still no extension. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie says the upcoming White House visit is a totally optional thing. Your loss if you don't go, no matter who's in the White House, you go. Quinn Ewers to visit the Saints. Chiefs and Chargers likely to play in Brazil and on Christmas Day, both their games. So that J-Lo, quick thought, just one word answer. Would you rather see the Chiefs and Chargers in Brazil or on Christmas?
I say Christmas. Yeah, Brazil was fun, but I like it better on Christmas, holidays. It creates some excitement on the holiday more than going to the location itself.
Couple more news and notes. Todd Bowles says he hopes Godwin is ready to roll week 1. Ben Johnson expected points added in passing game. And last but not least, Patriots have received multiple phone calls on Joe Milton. So, J-Lo, any last Bucs or NFL news before final words to get to, my friend?
First and foremost, Trey Henderson, it's a shame that he's not gotten his contract that he deserves. The guy's been top 5 edge rusher in the league, and you're not going to pay him what he deserves. Shame on the Bengals for letting it drag this long. I think they'll come out with a deal eventually. I don't think he gets traded at this point. Teams aren't buying on trading their first rounder for him, whatever. I hope that they come with solutions soon because Trey Henderson doesn't deserve it. He's a player. He goes out there and balls his ass off and gets double-digit sacks the last few seasons he's been in Cincinnati. I'll say that. And then as far as back to what you were saying about the holiday or location, to me, I say holiday. Keep it at your home location. Don't go across the water.
Yeah, and my final thoughts on the NFL and football in general, it just never sleeps. We're already progressing through the offseason, about halfway through, damn near at this point. So continue with us, man. We still have more free agency to go, NFL draft to go, schedule release, mini camps, voluntary camps, all that stuff, Hall of Fame game, and more here on the Buccateers. Remember, on day 3 of the draft, we have our annual special live coverage of draft day 3. That Saturday we come to you live for multiple hours, bringing you the Bucs day 1 and 2 picks, the live day 3 picks, other news and notes from around the league. J-Lo, get us out of here. What's your final word for the show, my friend, here on the Buccateers on this hump day on this Wednesday?
Final word is Happy baseball season. It's been fun. Couple series for the Rays. Sorry I came on late, past 10 to 15 minutes.
No, you're good. We're having fun with you, my friend.
Technology, what can you do? You know, Tones, we got
happens to me too.
Yeah, but draft's coming up. Looking forward to talk more, do more of this mock draft, trying to get the right, not the best, but the right players for this Buck organization that deserves to be here. You know, I want players that want to be here. Yeah, it's nice to get paid, but I want players that want to compete as a team and win championships, and that's what we have been building the last few years here in Tampa Bay. Go Bucs!
Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Fire the damn cannon. Jake Mangum, he's been killing it for the Rays, man. He's had a couple of really big, great games out there in right field, the young outfielder, and he continues to hit. Have a great rest of your day. Everyone, you as well, Richard. My final word is keep enjoying your Florida sports. The Lightning won a big one last night, 4-1. USF men's basketball got a new head coach. USF football is getting their new stadium. Rays Stadium talk continues, but they did a hell of a job with Steinbrenner Field compared to that piss poor hellhole in Sacramento that the A's are trying to play in. So keep loving your Tampa teams. Now the Bucs announced a stadium update. They keep making moves, and of course the Gators are in the Final Four. Auburn against them will be a fun one. So awesome time in the world of sports there in the state of Florida. But whether you're there or here on the Buccateers, once again, if you're watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, turn that notification bell on. You're watching J-Lo and Tones. Bounce you out of here as we get through the month of April, almost at draft day. J-Lo, Tampa Tones, the rest of the crew, Joey Nips, Cats, Stunna, Bucko, we all wish you a great rest of your day. We'll be back Saturday. No, we'll be back Sunday morning, I believe, if we could do Sunday. You good with Sunday, J-Lo?
Sunday morning, let's do it. Resurrect the breakfast of Buccateers. Let's go.
We'll be back Sunday morning. Fire the damn cannons, BB. City of Tampa, the best. Tampa Bay. Tampa
Bay.
Tampa
Bay.
We'll be back Sunday morning. J-Lo and Tones, we out. Peace. Go Bucs, go Lightning, go Cubs, go everybody. Thank you. Fire the damn can. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera